We'll get started in 2 minutes.
Okay. Oh, look, I made what you told me to make. I just put it in a
Oh,
martini glass. I
nice.
forgot to tell you.
Looks great. Okay, awesome.
You should have seen me in the store trying to find pumpkin seed. I was like, I'm such a mess.
Oh my God, I know. It's actually they're not so easy to find in just like a regular supermarket, I find.
Okay.
Um, but now a little bit easier just because they're very seasonal. But 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 yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that you did that.
And it does taste good.
It does. It really surprisingly does. Actually,
Yeah.
just reminded me, I'm running to go get that salt.
Okay.
Be right back.
Okay.
Okay. We are going to get started because I like to start on time. We are recording. Okay, we're good.
All right.
All right. So for everybody who's here, thank you for coming to tonight's webinar or this month's webinar. It's October. Halloween is definitely in the air, especially here in New York City. There is a lot of Halloween spirit going around, decorations, I think really more than ever, because of just I think the past 2 years have kind of been canceled almost. And this year everyone's really excited and to get back into Halloween and celebrating. And I can assure you that the treats this year will probably be better than ever, more than ever. And so I'm really here to kind of go through that and navigate Halloween, eating the treats, and making you feel a little bit better about the holiday and all of the treats that go with that. So that's really what tonight's about. For those of you who are new, Fair Meals is a free online platform offering families healthy, simple, and affordable meal solutions. Our mission is to empower families with the nutrition education, step-by-step recipes, and budget planning to make meals healthy, easy, and affordable. And our vision is to help combat America's chronic disease crisis by making healthy food an option for every family. Unfortunately, so many comorbidities have become more common and even more so in younger ages than we've really seen in the past. We're seeing type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, obesity in much younger ages. And so we really would like to help combat this issue by showing everybody that healthy food is an option. A little bit about myself. I am a registered dietitian. I founded Fair Meals to offer nutritional guidance and easy recipes that empower families to eat well on a budget. As I mentioned, I'm a registered dietitian. I have a master's of science in nutrition and dietetics from NYU. I'm a mom to 2 boys and a wife, and I know how difficult and how monotonous it can be to provide healthy meals for my family, but that are also convenient and affordable. So with this resource, I just hope to help families from all walks of life. And tonight we have a very special moderator. We have Rochelle. So Rochelle is an Emmy award-winning American broadcaster. She's a journalist, host, and moderator specializing in international affairs and global politics. So this is a little bit more fun than that, but she began her career as a broadcaster at KPRC TV before moving to an anchor morning news shows. News anchor roles include Al Jazeera America in NYC and HLN in Atlanta. She served as VP on the board of directors at Men Stopping Violence, an organization focused on ending physical and emotional aggression against women. She is the co-chair of the Men Stopping Violence Advisory Council. A Texas original, Carrie attended Smith College in Massachusetts before moving closer to home at Baylor University. Carrie lives in Houston with her son. So, without further ado, I want to open the floor up to you, to you, Rochelle.
Hi, Ariel. Thank you for. It's kind of awkward to sit there when people say all that because it makes you seem like super special. Nah, the coolest part is the last sentence you said that I
I
live in
agree.
Houston with my son. That is absolutely the best part. So thank you for inviting me to co-host this with you. And you mentioned how Halloween is back with the bang. I mean, when I'm walking in my neighborhood here in Houston, there are giant blown up um, black cats and ghosts and fake tombstones. And I was actually talking to someone the other day. I'm like, these grown-ups take Halloween very seriously, but it's all in good fun.
I agree. I totally agree. It's all in good fun. And, it's a really sweet time of year, right? And this is the beginning of the holiday season. So, what we're going to be talking about tonight kind of really should take you through the holiday season, right? We have
Yeah,
Halloween coming up. We go right into Thanksgiving. We go right into, Christmas and New Year's time. So, there's a lot of eating involved in all of these holidays. So, this is
absolutely.
just a really good way to kind of navigate these holidays. We'll start with Halloween because it is the first holiday that's coming up, and we're typically looking at a lot of different treats and candy and sugar, which we know that it's not the best thing to eat, right, every day. But, here at Fair Meals, we're all about time and place and everything in moderation. And I think that, especially holds true on Halloween. There's been so much, and as I mentioned, Halloween's in full blown, whatever right now. And I think it's because the past 2 years have been, unfortunately, a little bit more, I would
It's
say
been stressful, and
they,
particularly
they've been
stressful
stressful. They've been
and stressful
stressful.
on
And
kids in particular.
for sure. And, there's been so much, I don't want to use this word, but there's been so much bad in the world. And there's been so many things that unfortunately have been taken away from us due to the pandemic. And, why shouldn't we celebrate when we can? And we should. So,
Like that.
as I mentioned, I'm really here to kind of give guidance on how to do that the best way and to really do so guilt free, right? We shouldn't feel guilt. We shouldn't have this guilty conscience of, oh, I ate so much candy today. What's the best way to do this without feeling that guilt and to really understand that this is okay and there is a time and a place, and Halloween is definitely one of those times and places.
And before
So,
we get there, just so people know that you practice what you preach, and you have already taught me to, you gave me this recipe for this fantastic trail mix that I don't
yes,
feel like I'm missing out on any sweets, but there's something healthy to it. And it was
yeah.
simple. If I can do this, Ariel, everyone who's watching, I promise you it's simple.
Yes, and we're going to go through that, but I'm
Okay.
glad that you made that because as you did mention on our prep call, you don't love being in the kitchen so much. So if you were able to do that, and I appreciate that you did and you took the time to go get the ingredients. If you did that, then I really just, I'm sure you can let our viewers know
It
more
was worth it.
that it is worth it. And there's, it's very festive. It's a very festive trail mix. So I really like it. And I think the flavors go well really nicely. And we will get to that at the end. And our first topic is just talking about balance and tips. So the first thing, first and foremost, try not to stress, right? Halloween should be fun for you and for your family, for your kids. Make memories and know that one night of candy will not compromise overall health. I think there's so much um, that people feel that, oh, one day of bad eating is going to make me gain 5 pounds and I'm going to, everything that I worked so hard for is that it's all going to be ruined with one day of bad
And that's
eating.
not, and you really don't
It's
want your
not true.
kids, and you especially don't
No.
want to put that type of pressure and that type of thinking on children to think that way either.
100%. I'm really glad that you mentioned that because so much of what we do as adults and as parents and as caregivers is it really seeps into our kids, right? And if we have that mentality and if we live our lives that way, and if we don't, celebrate Halloween and we don't have the treats because, we're fearful of that, they'll pick up on that. Our kids pick
Yes.
up on things. They're a lot smarter than we think they are. So that's a really great point, and we definitely don't want to, put that onto our kids and have them have those thoughts.
The
Um,
next the next tip
yeah,
I'm really interested in so you say that you need to hydrate and fuel for the day?
yes. So they kind of make it sound like this is a marathon, but for all intents and purposes, it is a
It
marathon,
is.
right? Trick or treating. I know in this city is everyone takes it very seriously, and the streets are filled with kids, and people are from right after school gets out until pretty much bedtime. They're out trick or treating, right? But there are ways to make yourself prepared, right? So we know we're going to have lots of treats that night, right? Or whether it's going to be that night or the next day, but we know that in the near future, there will be a lot of treats that we're consuming. So
Mhm,
have a balanced meal before trick or treating with the little reds, right? Make sure that they are eating, let them get their protein for the day, right? Making sure before they go out, they're going to have, a proper meal. And this doesn't have to like fall within, the breakfast, lunch, or dinner time slot. It can be
mhm,
2:30 before you go out trick or treating, right? Give them a balanced meal. It will make you feel better as a parent and
mhm,
will not stress you. Also, going back to that last slide of not to stress, it will
mhm.
make you feel better as a parent knowing that your kid, had a good balanced meal before they went out. And it will just make you feel more relaxed about them eating treats later on when they get home because they went out, they got those treats, and they should be able to enjoy them. But we're kind of gonna you don't want to be a party pooper, right? You don't want to be like, oh, well, you went trick or treating. Now let's go home and eat that balanced meal and dinner. They want to
Well,
go
you
home. They want to eat those treats.
you
So,
also don't want them saying, "Well, I didn't eat dinner, mommy, so I can eat all this candy."
exactly. Exactly. So, having a balanced meal before is a really great way to, I think, also take away a lot of that stress.
All right.
So you need the energy, right, for running around
Yeah.
and having fun. But also it'll, like I said, take away that stress, make you feel a little bit better about, the night that you have ahead. And bring water bottles to stay hydrated, right? I know this sounds kind of silly, but any sort of activity, especially the running around and being in the costumes, it causes, perspiration, it causes us to
Mhm.
sweat. And we just want to stay hydrated, right? We don't want anybody getting dehydrated while they're out trick or treating. So definitely, bring water bottles, stay hydrated, and make sure your kids are drinking as well.
You also say mix it up.
Mix it up. So if you're not comfortable handing out tons of candy, offer Halloween inspired prizes like stickers, bubbles, rings, temporary tattoos, like things like that, right? Halloween, as much as it's about, the candy, it's also it's anything that kids will love or want. Those
Mhm.
are great things to give out as well, right? So if you're not comfortable, and I know for me, being a registered dietitian, I don't always feel so comfortable just giving out tons and tons of candy because
Mhm.
kind of, I love candy.
Mhm.
I'm going to be very honest about that. I don't love, being the one to give it out all the time. So, sometimes just give different things out, right? Kids love stickers, right? They love bubbles. They love, any sort of like little knickknack that we can give out. And you can make it cute. You can make it fun. Like in this picture that you see on the slide, right? There's, a little goodie bag of Halloween, inspired,
Well, the cool
toys.
thing about these ideas too is that you don't want to be the person on the block who gets the reputation of she gave me an apple because
Yes.
we'll never
Oh,
live that down.
oh yeah, they're not coming back to you.
No,
So
they are not. So, and it doesn't have to be an apple. It can be something fun that isn't necessarily candy.
exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Very, very
So
good. Okay.
yes. So just, if you want listen, you definitely can be the one to give out candy. And like I said, kids should have candy. But you can also do something different. There's nothing wrong with that.
All right.
So set boundaries, but
Yes.
don't restrict. So it can be tempting to overindulge in sweets. Our bodies will not be thanking us later. So allow your kids to pick out a few pieces a day to pack
Okay.
for lunch, have with their after school snacks, or for dessert before bed. Right. So I like this point, and I kind of want to expand upon it a little bit because somebody, asked me, oh well, should we have like a few nights and then should I get rid of the candy? Candy is pretty shelf stable, right? It stays for a pretty long time. Sometimes it'll get a little bit harder, but it's not spoiled. And these are good things. I'm really not in. I'm not one to reward or into the idea of rewarding with candy for doing
Okay.
something good. But
Okay.
you don't have to. It doesn't have to say, well, if you do this, you'll get candy. But sometimes on your own, you can see, your kid had a great week at school, or your kid did something really nice for their sibling or really nice for their friend, and be like, you know what, you did something really nice. I'm going to give you a piece of candy, from your Halloween bag. So I think that it's yes, you should, allow your kids to pick a few pieces, right? We don't want them eating the whole bag. Pick a few pieces, but then also for that day or the next few days. But then don't get rid of it. Keep it and use it, as you see fit.
Okay.
So,
And
yeah.
no, absolutely, absolutely. Or I
Oh,
mean, I would probably, just to save me from myself, I would have to get rid of it. It wouldn't even be
yes.
my child I'd be concerned about. I would be the one that would be nibbling it for days. But if you have the restraint not to do that, then yeah, I think it's a great idea to keep it around and use it every now and then.
Yes. So that's also another point. Don't put it somewhere with easy access, right? For you or for your kids. We have really high ceilings and we have um, cabinets that it's basically almost impossible to get up to. And I'm so lazy to ever get up there. So, put it up there, put it somewhere where it's not going to be like, oh, you know what? I want some candy. I'm going to open up my cupboard and take out some candy. It's
Hmm.
good to, it's good to really keep it somewhere that's really not accessible, but that you'll be able to in the future get to it when you want or need.
Okay. This next point, I really like, and I think that this is something we should probably stress a few more times throughout this webinar, that, different parents, different families do different things. You do what is right for your family.
100%. And I really, I added this actually into the slide deck a little bit later, but I think it's one of the most important things to speak about. And this holds true for nutrition in general and what everybody's eating in general.
Hmm.
Don't judge other people, right? Ever what they're eating, how much they're eating of something. What works for you might not work for them. What works for them might not work for you. Um, and just there's no need to shame other people. It embarrasses them, it shames them, and we're not in their shoes. And unless you are in
Absolutely.
the exact same situation as them, which nobody really is, then there's no reason to judge.
No, because you
So
have no idea why they're making the choices they are making.
Ex- exactly. And never make comments, oh, you're letting your kid eat that. Or, you know, some kids, are fine with sugar, right? There's some kids that like they'll have one piece of sugar and they'll be up till midnight because it just totally puts them on a sugar high. And
Mhm.
then there are some kids that can have sugar right before bed and they're fine, right? So there's really just no need to judge. And on the other side, on the flip side, don't judge if a parent is not giving their kid candy, right? Don't be
Absolutely.
like, oh, it's Halloween.
Right.
Come on, give your kid some candy. Don't judge because, as I mentioned, you don't know what's going on. You don't know how their kid reacts to sugar.
Mhm.
And you don't know what it looks like, in their household. So just the lesson here is really not to judge whether you see, somebody giving their kid candy or not, because it's a very personal decision. Everyone's different, and it's entirely up to the guardians or the caregivers. So you
So
do you, as I ended
bottom
this.
line, mind your own business. Can we say it that way?
Yes, mind your own business. That's a great way of putting it. Mind your own business. And as I mentioned, this holds true way past Halloween.
Yeah,
This holds true for everything, for all types of eating and diets and
absolutely.
eating habits. So I just really wanted to put that in there because I felt it was important.
Okay, so we're talking about all this eating. Let's get to some recipes. You ready?
Okay.
Oh,
So, oh wait, we have a few more, I think, right? Yep, one more, and then we got some recipes, and then we'll do our little um
Trail mix.
demo that I have here. Yeah, our little trail mix. So
Okay.
eat regular meals. So ditch the all or nothing mentality by serving nutritious foods alongside candy. A meal with protein and fiber will promote balance, blood sugars, and fullness. So this kind of, I put this little like Halloween inspired cheese and little snack plate there, but this kind of also holds true with our trail mix.
Mhm.
And I will talk a little bit more about that when we put that together, and I'll talk about why I included the different ingredients that are included in there.
Okay.
And yes, now we have our recipes.
All
So
right.
we have
A veggie
our
platter.
our veggie platter, right? So this is something we can do for our kids. This is something that if somebody's having a party and they want to, put out and they want something a little healthier, which I think nowadays a lot of people really tend to want
Mhm.
and look for. These are just really great themed, you know, themed things that we can put out on our table. So
They're
easy assembly
colorful
and
too. They're very colorful.
they're fun, festive, they're nutritious. And it's pretty easy, right? It
Yeah,
doesn't look like anything's too difficult here.
I could do
Um, yeah,
that.
the most annoying part is all the chopping up, but
Yeah.
if you just put your mind to it, it'll get done. But yes, I agree. It looks pretty easy. It's fun. Kids will love it, and
Yep.
kids do love this stuff. And also, this is a great way to get your kid to, if they don't eat vegetables, right? Don't eat too many vegetables. A good way to get them to try that as well.
Absolutely. Okay. Stencils. Okay, this is getting
Pencils.
a little creative for me. So let's
Yes.
dig in
So
here.
I am actually a huge fan of stencils. I cut out, I can't say everything. I definitely don't do everything. I went through a period where I was more into it than I am now. Um,
Okay.
Probably because I've gotten lazier. Um, but just cutting sandwiches or omelets or fruit using different stencils. And, this goes also beyond Halloween. It is so much fun for your kids. We've actually had a moderator in the past, and I don't remember who it was, but she would put together um, a lunch every day for her kids, and she would use different stencils and make different shapes for different foods. And it was so great and cute. And she really said it got her kids eating it more because it was so enticing and the kids in school loved it. And
Okay.
it kind of makes other kids maybe feel bad with them walking in with their little brown bag. But it's not something we have to do every single day. I think every single day is definitely very difficult and you have to be very committed to that. But
Mhm.
it is a really, really great way to get your kids to try new foods, be excited about their foods that they're eating, whether it's new foods or foods that they love. Get them involved in the preparation process, which I'm a huge proponent of also because I think there's a lot of benefits that come out of that. And then just, this one, like for Halloween, let's say, or, for any holiday, right? Finding stencils that are festive for that holiday or,
So
we can
let me
use.
let me ask you. I mean, I hope somebody else is having the same question, but even if it's just me, I'm going to ask it. Where do you get the stencils?
Amazon.
Okay, thing. Oh, duh.
Amazon. Target sells them too. I've
Okay.
seen them on Target.
Okay.
You can write in like food stencils or
Okay.
food cutters.
Yeah.
Um, I have I got a set, it came like a set of 30, and there's big ones and small ones and medium ones that go to like as tiny as like a grape to
Mhm.
cut out a grape, and big ones for big sandwiches or wraps. But they're a lot of fun. They really are a lot of
I
fun, and I
love
think
this idea.
great it's a great way to just get your kids into the spirit, and also in terms of nutrition, right?
Mhm.
Getting them to eat excited about the fruit that's on the table. Maybe they'll come home and be like, oh, just fruit, but it's a good way to just get them excited about that.
All righty.
Also, if you're having a party, another really great healthy option.
Very nice.
Okay,
Hummus.
so pumpkin hummus. So I am a really big fan of this recipe. I've tried it. It is very delicious.
Okay.
Um, I would actually cut the amount of pumpkin, and when it says I wouldn't do a cup of pumpkin. I would probably do half a cup of pumpkin. You can do the full cup of pumpkin.
Mhm.
I just think it doesn't need that much.
Okay.
And half a cup is better. So I do want to just make note of that.
Okay.
Um, so you have the chickpeas, you have the canned pumpkin, some olive oil, tahini paste, which is like a sesame paste, lemon juice, garlic, salt, and chili powder. The chili powder is pretty optional, but it does bring out a really, really nice taste with the goes really well with the pumpkin and the chickpeas. You put everything into a food processor, you thin it out with a little water. That is it. There is a little bit of a trick. It's a bit time consuming and maybe annoying to do, but it does create for a little bit of a smoother hummus. And that is to peel the chickpeas, take that little, like that skin off of the
Ooh.
chickpeas, um, just because it will be a little bit smoother.
Okay.
But it's not necessary. That's just like a texture preference. It won't
Okay.
change the taste much. It just changes the texture.
Okay.
But it is really delicious, very in theme. Another great thing to have with, vegetables, you use those stencils, cut out some vegetables, put out this hummus, and you got yourself a really awesome snack.
And that's not a
Um,
lot of ingredients at all.
no, not at all. Hummus is a super, super easy thing to make. It stays in the refrigerator for like 4 or 5 days. And it's so delicious, so healthy. It's packed with fiber and protein and good healthy fats. So there's a ton of nutritious benefits to this.
Actually, I think that is our next slide. There we go.
There we go. Yep. I knew that was coming up. So
Yeah.
pumpkin is packed with vitamin A and vitamin C. So vitamin A. So anything that has that like deep orange hue, that color, that's a
Mhm.
natural color,
Mhm.
is typically pretty high in vitamin A. And vitamin A, just like carrots, are very important for our eyes. And vitamin C, um, for healthy skin and vision. As I mentioned, chickpeas are a great source of plant-based protein. And when paired with tahini, it creates a complete protein. So, chickpeas alone, they do have protein, but they don't have that full 8 grams of protein that we're looking for. But when you do put it with the tahini, which, as I
Mhm.
mentioned, is that sesame paste, it
Mhm.
does create a complete protein. So when you are eating hummus, it is a complete protein that you're eating. And tahini, as I mentioned, this ground sesame, it contains phosphorus, manganese, and those are both really, really great and important for bone health. So a lot of really, really great
That's
benefits.
super impressive, actually. I did not realize how how healthy hummus could be.
Yeah, hummus is a great snack. I'll always tell people, if you don't want to buy it, make it. There's tons of good options. Some brands are healthier than others.
Mhm.
Um, and just keep it in your refrigerator, and it's a great thing. And also for kids, if my kids are not really into what I served for dinner that night. I did this a little bit more with my older one. My younger one's not as into hummus as my older one was, but I used to do some carrots, some crackers, hummus, and that was dinner because I knew he was getting,
Yep.
vegetables, he was getting protein, he was getting carbohydrates. And that's really what dinner needs to look like, right? Especially for kids, but also for adults. We have this idea of what meals need to look like, these big, grand, big plates.
Mhm.
But that's not necessarily true. And it's definitely a great snack. It can be part of a meal as well. But it's delicious, it's healthy, and super nutritious.
Okay.
Had
Frankenstein wraps. I love
Frankenstein
this
wraps.
picture. This picture is fantastic.
Yes. So this is just a great way to use those green wraps, right? The spinach wraps that we can find in any supermarket, pretty
Mhm.
low cost. You can use pumpkin hummus. You can use regular hummus if you want. You can use some cheese, cucumbers, carrots, whatever, really any sort of vegetables that you want.
Mhm.
And then you can you can fill it with the cheese and the hummus, and then you can wrap it and then put these little fun, eyes, mouth, hand situation on there just to make it more fun for your kids. Again, this can be dinner, right? They can come
Yep.
home on Halloween. They
Yep.
can eat this quickly before you go out for trick or treating. It's a really fun way to get them to just, eat something. This can be that balanced meal before you go out.
I like that. Okay.
So, as I mentioned, you're going to spread the hummus, some veggies, the cheese, and then you're going to kind of put that all together. So it's pretty easy, self-explanatory. There's no right or wrong way to make this. You can do it however you want. It's just a cute, fun thing for kids, and it's a great
And
way to
that
get
may
them
be something
involved
they
as
could
well.
even help you with too.
For sure, for sure. As I was just saying, it's
Mhm.
a great way to get them involved, right? They just like kids really, really love getting involved in the kitchen. They really do. Most kids, I won't say all kids, but most kids really do. They really enjoy it. They love cooking.
Mhm.
They're born loving to cook,
Mhm.
or to help cook, and it's fun for them, and it just gets them excited about what they're going to eat. And that's what I love about all of these recipes. They
Mhm.
might seem silly, but they're just really ways to get your kids, to get you involving your kids. And it's a great activity. It's a good bonding time. There's so many like emotional there's so many like emotional reasons why this is good as well, right? Like emotionally, it's good for you, it's good for your kids to do something together, right? Developmentally, it's good for them for, a whole host of reasons as well. So there's really just a lot of benefits to,
Even
these recipes.
even my son, who's going to be 21 months in a few days, obviously could not do this. But to your point,
Yes.
I just recently got one of, I'm not sure what you call it, but one of those tower step ladder things so that he
Yes.
could like look and see
The
what
toddler
I'm doing. And I'm
towers.
not even a cook, but he even likes to just watch me wash dishes. Like they just
Yeah.
love to be in the kitchen with you.
I totally agree. Those toddler towers are great. I always tell people if you have space for them,
Mhm.
they
And they do
are
come
like,
collapsible, just so you
they
know.
do. Yes, yes. I was just gonna say that. Yes, you're right. And they're such a great thing to have at home.
Mhm.
Because it's like you said, even then just watching you cook, watching you clean dishes, letting them feel, it makes them feel like they have a space, they have a place in your
Yeah.
kitchen rather.
Mhm.
And that it's, they feel, they feel a part of it, and they just want to feel a part of things that we're doing, and especially cooking and things. Food is a part of everyone's life.
Mhm.
And it's a part of, your son's life who's 21 months.
Mhm.
And he knows that, right? He knows that food's a part of his life. So he sees you doing all this stuff with food, and it's like, ooh, like, what is this? This is you're putting this together, and then you're giving it to me. I want to be a part of that, right? So from a really young age, it's a really, really good, important thing to get our kids involved. And I love the toddler tower. So I'm glad that you brought that up.
It's and also a good way just to know where they are while you're doing
Yes, exactly.
something.
So our health benefits. So cucumbers they're super hydrating due to their high water content.
Mhm.
Carrots contain the beta carotene, right, that we mentioned before, an
Mhm.
orange pigment that supports eye health, right? Also vitamin A. And the red bell peppers boost immunity because they contain vitamin C. Red bell peppers are great, great source of vitamin C, just like oranges are. When we think of vitamin C, I think a lot of people think of citrus fruit, but actually
Right.
red bell peppers and orange bell peppers are also really high up there,
Okay.
in good sources of vitamin C. So that's a good thing to just know.
Okay.
So mini mommy pizzas. So these are also a really, really easy thing to do.
Okay.
Just a fun thing for your kids to do with you. You can really use any base, right? I would just make it circular. You can use bread and just cut a circle. You can use an English muffin. You can even use a rice cake,
Hmm.
which is just a really great way. You put some tomato sauce, mozzarella cheese, you make the little eyes, and it's just like such a cute thing. It's so easy. But
Very easy.
let's move away from Halloween for a second. Even if you're not going to make them look like the mummies, this is a great way for kids to get involved as well. Especially if you are going to be using a rice cake or an English muffin or something. There's so many things that kids can help with at a really young age, right? At
Mhm.
21 months. It may not be perfect, but they can help with, you know, putting on the tomato sauce, or spooning the tomato sauce, or sprinkling on the cheese. There's so many like small things that they can do to help get involved, and that's what I love about these really simple recipes, because they tend to have a lot that kids can do from really young ages and from all ages. So I really like this. This is
The
obviously a cute little rendition for Halloween, but it's also just a great easy recipe for kids to get involved with.
Unfortunately, the issue I would have is, as you mentioned, my son already knows food is life for him. So we would be trying to make little designs and he would be sneaking them in his mouth. But nevertheless,
that's part of it. That's part of the learning. That's part of the I mean, we do the same thing too, right? I know when
yeah,
I
we
cook,
do.
I'm sneaking things. So it's
Yeah,
all ages do that.
yeah.
So health benefits. So tomato sauce, just like tomatoes, obviously come from tomatoes. They contain lycopene, which are an antioxidant that protects against chronic disease. We see lycopene a lot as it pertains to protecting against, or rather, supporting the health, preventing, hopefully, prostate cancer. There's a lot of link. There's a link there. A lot of research that supports that lycopene is helpful in, preventing that. Whole wheat products contain more fiber and are less processed than refined grains.
Mhm.
Mozzarella cheese, there's protein, there's calcium, so good for strong and healthy bones, right? Obviously, once our kids are past formula and they're, on, we give them milk, but if they don't like milk, we say, they should have yogurt and cheese. So just
Mhm.
another great way for them to get some calcium. And olives are a really healthy fat, right? They're a source of monounsaturated fats
Mhm.
and they promote heart health and, things like that. So just really simple ingredients, but there's a ton of health benefits there as well. And I think that's also what I love to share with everybody in these webinars is that we can look at something so simple and see how really good they can be for us. So
Very easy.
that's another example.
This
Okay,
one's
so
easy too.
banana yogurt pop. So I really love like using Greek yogurt as kind of like a a coating for things because there's so many health benefits, which we'll talk about in a few minutes.
My son loves
And
Greek
they
yogurt.
also go really well with fruit. I find it just like I actually don't like Greek yogurt on its own. I can tolerate it with fruit.
Mhm.
And then when it is frozen, I
Mhm.
happen to love it because there's like this tartness. So what you need is bananas, Greek yogurt, you need popsicle sticks, chocolate chips. That's it. Super, super easy, right?
Super easy.
And you're going to dip the yogurt, you're going to place it on a lined baking sheet, add the chocolate chip for the eyeballs, put it in the freezer for a few hours, and that's it. Is super, super easy. It looks like adorable
Mhm.
and it's so easy to make. And these are good, again, aside, let's move away from Halloween for a second. These are great snacks. These are things we can keep in the freezer. Really great snacks for, our kids come home before they're going to have dinner. We want them to have a snack because they're hungry, and there's so many health benefits to this as well. So, bananas are a great source of fiber and also of potassium. The
Mhm.
fiber is going to obviously promote gut health and digestion. Um, Potassium's, good for blood health. Greek yogurt has protein to keep help blood sugar levels stable and help keep you fuller for longer.
Mhm.
And then dark chocolate is, it's a lower sugar option and it contains heart healthy fats. They say there's, a lot of the antioxidants as well in
Mhm.
dark chocolate. So trying to look at the positives, look for the positives in everything that we're eating. So again, super, super easy, delicious, healthy snack.
All right. Spider snacks. That's a
Spider
heck of a
snacks.
picture there.
Yes. So figs are one of those things your kids may not like.
Mhm.
So if your kids won't eat it, it's fun to make. Maybe they'll
Mhm.
try it. I think it's actually a really great way to get your kids to try figs, which
Mhm.
is kind of why I included this. I wanted something that there were ingredients that like kids may, not like, at first sight, but it's a fun way
But
to
now,
kind of get them.
if something looks like this, the child will at least give it a try, if
Yeah,
nothing
I
else.
think so too. I think so too. So it's just like a really cute, right? You have some marshmallows, chocolate chips, figs, pretzels, right? So many ingredients that kids love. And
Mhm.
it's a great way to get your kids to maybe try figs, which are, have an incredible amount of health benefits. So fresh figs are rich in antioxidants that help fight off free radicals. And they also are very, very, very high in fiber. So, just a really, really great, delicious, healthy fruit.
Okay.
And
Marshmallows.
the marshmallows.
That
It was
was
cute.
fun.
It was cute. It was cute when I was writing it. They're just fun. Marshmallows are fun, right? And there's really
Yeah.
not much besides a little bit of sugar in there. That's just really, it's a fun thing. And they're so cute on these little eyes. So on these little figs. So um definitely just a fun snack.
All right. Ghostly
So ghostly
grape
grape
cups.
cups. So just remember that if your kids are not of age to eat whole grapes, which mine are not, to make sure you're cutting them in half.
Mhm.
I always like to give that uh, that that I like to say that
They're a
before I talk
choking
about
hazard.
this because they're, yes, they are a choking hazard grapes. It's fine for you to cut them in half. That's not a problem. Just make sure that, I think the age is 5. But even then, kids should learn to take a bite of a grape before putting a whole thing. They should never put a
Can
whole
I
grape in their mouth.
can I ask you? So all the way up to 5. I mean, maybe other people watching knew that, but I didn't realize that it was that long.
Yeah. So
Okay.
grapes are the size of like anyone's throat, essentially, which is why they are a choking hazard. Up to 5, I think they are able to understand to take a bite of the grape, which is why I think it's 5. I don't think it's like, oh, if it's past 5, it's not a choking hazard. I think it's
Mhm.
just they have the cognitive ability to understand that they need to take a bite.
Okay.
But yes, you can definitely still make this with halved grapes,
Mhm.
but just do so obviously if your kid is at the age of needing that. So you have grapes, banana sliced, chocolate chips,
Mhm.
and markers just for the outside,
Mhm.
or a cup. You're going to draw them different faces, put some grapes at the bottom,
Very
so put
cute.
the banana slices with chocolate chips, put that in under the eyes, cover it with more grapes, and that's it. Super, super easy. These things look so cute, but if you just look how few ingredients they are and how simple, and it's so fun, and your kid will love it.
Yeah.
They're gonna love it, right? All we want to do is make our kids smile,
Yep.
and make our kids laugh and see them happy. And if like going out of your way to be a little bit creative is going to do that, then I think that's just a really great
I
thing
think
to
that's
do.
one of the easiest things you'll ever do.
I agree. So, also a really, really cute thing. So grapes contain B vitamins. So there's a ton of B vitamins that we've gone through in past webinars, and they contain a lot of them for overall health, and vitamin K, which is important for blood and bone health. And bananas, as we mentioned before, have potassium, which are important for regulating our blood pressure. So a lot of really great things here as well. So some safety measures. So Halloween protocols. So do not eat candy with broken or open wrappers. And I just want to put this in because you see this all over the news right now. Unfortunately, there's like just crazy people out there that are just trying to do harm to too many people. So don't eat candy with broken wrappers or that are open. They're no longer safe for consumption. We don't know what's been put in there, and it's just not worth taking a chance. Do check all candy for tampering, eating, and throw away anything that seems that
And
looks off.
if I could just add to that too, I think we give parents a lot of things to worry about, and some of which may be over the top. This is great
Mhm.
advice, but I think that some of what we see on the news makes you think that there's, just there's so many people out there that are trying to poison your
Mhm.
children, and that's just not the case. But absolutely practice this common sense that you said.
Yes.
Like, yes, if something looks like it's
Agreed.
filled with, don't take the chance that it is, but more than likely,
Exactly.
you're going to be okay.
Exactly. I think that's a good point. I think it's just to also show that yes, there's most people are out to do good. Unfortunately, there are people that are not. So don't be too extreme and say, "Oh, my kid can't eat any candy because I saw this on the news, and all Halloween candy is
Exactly.
then you
Right.
know is bad, and we can't eat any of it." But just take precaution, right? If you see
Absolutely.
something, just like you see something, say something. If you see
Mhm.
something, throw it away.
It's
Don't
just throw
take
it
the
away.
chance, and that's it.
Absolutely.
Get something else.
All right.
And also just something to, be cautious about when, when food allergens in candy. Unfortunately, there's a lot of peanuts and nut allergies and wheat allergies and, coconut allergies. And this is something that we have to remember, that there's a lot of these ingredients, a lot of these allergens are contained in treats and sweets. So if you are a parent or a caregiver of a kid who,
Mhm.
or if you yourself have an allergy to one of these allergens, just be aware, look at labels,
Absolutely look at the
don't
labels
take
because you
chances.
don't
Definitely
always
look at
know.
label.
You can't always
Yeah,
see the nuts that you're talking about, or all, so you've got
exactly.
to read the labels.
Exactly. And it's just something to keep in mind. I'm sure parents that have kids that have allergies already do keep this in mind, but I just wanted to throw it out there because of um,
Yeah.
so many allergens that are contained in these candies.
Okay.
So do not give children under 5 gum, candy corn also, caramels, raisins, and raisins are okay. That should not be in there, or hard candies and Halloween.
Okay.
Um, these are all choking hazards.
Mhm.
And obviously, we want to make sure that candies are age appropriate. Avoid candies that pose a choking hazard, and choking is a very real thing.
Yeah,
So just, be cautious, make sure you're giving them age appropriate candies and foods. And then it'll be a lot of fun.
I think so.
So, like hard candies, caramels are definitely choking hazards, gum,
Caramels are
even,
tough for adults too.
yes, I agree. I agree. So just definitely something to be careful of.
Okay.
And that is really it. But before we end, I wanted to kind of show you guys. Oop, I wanted to show you guys
We got to
my
this.
my little recipe that I came up with about 2 weeks ago. And this is a Halloween trail mix. So I happen to love trail mix in general. I don't eat it much anymore, but I did eat it a lot growing up. I love the idea of putting different flavors together and like taking one bite. And I love just like having different foods that kind of go together
Mhm.
in one bite. So that kind of just brought me back to my childhood, and I feel like that's what we want to do on Halloween. So I have a mason jar just because I thought it was a lot of fun. You can do if you are having a party, or something. You're having a bunch of kids over. You can get little mason jars. I have a bigger one. You can get a smaller mason jar and fill them up with these different ingredients, and it's a really cute way for people to not have to have their own little snacks, and also not
Mhm.
have to put all our hands in one bowl and mix all the germs that are going around now. So I thought this was a cute way to do that. So we have candy corn, which is our base, because I
Yeah.
just felt like candy corn screams Halloween. It's also very, very easy to find right now.
Surprisingly, Ariel, when I was in the store today, I looked everywhere and I could not find candy corn. So I went to
Really? Oh my god.
really well. I ended up finding, but I had to go ask the cashier, and she's like, "It's over by the Halloween candy." I'm like, "Well, you would think, but I can't find it." They literally had them in these tiny little bags that it should
That
not have
is
been that hard to find for Halloween.
so funny because I find any store I go into, it's like the first thing that's out is candy corn. It's like out on display.
Oh,
Um, but
but yeah,
who
found
knows?
it.
But yes, you found it.
I
So
found it.
I have some candy corn here. It's very festive. It's fun. Then we have our next thing we have our dark chocolate chips.
Yes.
So we're gonna put some of that in there.
And why specifically dark chocolate? I think
So
people know,
dark,
but just
dark, dark chocolate. Yeah, dark chocolate. As I mentioned before, they're lower in sugar. They are said to contain antioxidants. To prevent chronic illness. So it's just a healthier option.
okay.
Um, the next thing we're going to do is I have nuts and seeds. So I have peanuts and I have pumpkin seeds. So pumpkin seeds I chose, you can really use any seeds. I chose pumpkin seeds because what's Halloween without pumpkins? And I did peanuts, but if you are, having kids with allergies or worried about that, you can totally leave the peanuts out. You can leave the nuts out. If you're just making this for yourself, though, it's a great option. It's a great way to add some healthy fats
And
into
I used
our trail
cashews for
mix.
mine.
Yes, cashews is also a really, really great one. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So I have some peanuts in here, and some pumpkin seeds. It's like I said, it's a great way to get some healthy fats in there, which is always something that we want to try to add into our snacks as well.
Mhm.
Um, then I have some dried cranberries. This is a good way to just get some extra fiber. There's a ton of fiber in dried fruit in general. You really use any dried fruit that you want. It's just another, it's a different texture to add into this
Mhm.
whole little snack situation,
Mhm.
and also has good fiber and is sweet. And then this is totally not necessary, but I love how it kind of brings in all the flavors together. I have a little bit of like a flaked sea salt. I think it just goes really nicely. It brings all the flavors in, kind of combines them really nicely. You just need a little bit. I would not use a table salt. So if you don't have a flaked sea salt, I probably just wouldn't. I would skip this step. I happen to have a flaked sea salt, and I just think it like goes so nicely. I love the combination of sweet and salty.
I
Um,
used
so
I used sea salt. I had like a sea salt grinder, and that's
Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. That's fine. Um, and then you can keep it layered, but I like to just close out my mason jar. I like to mix it up. And
Mhm.
then it's just like a really nice, cute little, you know, trail mix that you can have,
And
and it can
easy.
stay in a super, super easy. It can stay in there for a few days, probably up to a week actually would be fine if you are, giving something out. Obviously to people that you know. It's a really cute little gift to give to people. Super festive. It's a healthier way to feel good about Halloween treats, and it's just a lot of fun. So
It's really good
that's
too.
really it.
I
Yeah, it
actually
is really good.
I made it earlier today and I've been nibbling on it all day. It's very
It is delicious. It's shockingly delicious.
yeah.
So that is really it. I don't know if we had any questions come in. I don't see anything come in. So I think this was a pretty like straightforward,
Yeah.
webinar. But if we do have any questions, we're happy to take them.
And
Um,
remind, like, the screen is up, but just make sure people know how to reach you, how to get
yes.
more information on these simple recipes and all that.
So you can reach me at info@fairmeals.org. You can look at our website, fairmeals.org. You can follow us on social media on Instagram, at Fairmeals. And there's a ton of information. We always have a ton of um, posts that we're posting on social media, so on and so forth. So there's a lot that we can do. Um, there's a lot up there, a lot of information. I think I saw two things come into the chat
Yeah,
box. Are you
someone
able to see
saying,
that?
someone said this is great. So yay. And the recipes, which you just were telling people where to find everything. So
On
here's a
our website.
question. Here's a
Yeah.
question, and you mentioned this all. You said about the hummus. Someone wants to know, could you do other flavors besides pumpkin?
Yeah, you can add pretty much anything. I mean, what I've really seen is, like a garlic. Some people put like a pesto with the hummus, things like anything that really makes sense. I wouldn't go too crazy.
Yeah, the
But
key is for it to make sense.
you can really add any flavors that you want to that.
All right. Very, very nice. Very nice. Okay.
All right.
So, yeah,
So I
this
think
is
that's it. Thank you
great.
guys so much. Thank you,
All right.
Rochelle.
Thanks for
This was
letting
a
me
lot
tag
of
along.
fun.
You
Yeah, thank
know,
you for being here, and have a great night, everyone. And
absolutely.
we'll see you soon. I'll see you next time.
And have a safe Halloween, everybody.
Yeah, safe Halloween. Thank you
Bye.
guys. Bye.